Our hopes is that the early part of the holiday season is going well for you, and we appreciate you making the Our Town program a part of that holiday season. Good morning and welcome to the Our Town program here on 94.9 and 99.1 The River. My name is Darren Swenson. Our Town brought to you by Decorah Bank and Trust. Coming up Sunday night, it's the Allamakee County Ecumenical Christmas Concert. We'll be previewing that with Sarah Bieber. Also coming up this weekend, it's Vestherheim Norwegian Christmas. Chivonne Marlow from Vestherheim will join us. Dickens on Mill Street has been a relatively new thing put on by the Winneshiek County Historical Society. We'll chat with Stacey Gossling about that event. But this weekend is also the opening of shotgun deer season in the state of Iowa. We will preview shotgun deer season with DNR deer biologist Jace Elliott. Those guests and more coming up right now on Our Town, brought to you by Decorah Bank and Trust, and you're listening to it on 94.9 and 99.1 The River. Coming up this weekend is the opening of the first shotgun deer season in the state of Iowa, and the deer biologist with the Iowa Department of Natural Resources, Jace Elliott, is joining us. And Jace, as we sit here and talk early in the week, what are some of the things, some of the good things that hunters need to be reminded of as they get ready to go out in the fields this weekend?
Yeah, you bet, Darren. So, like you mentioned, we have the firearm deer season coming up starting this Saturday. That is going to be a time when we have the most hunting effort and the most deer harvest taking place in the state of Iowa. So, over 50% of the deer harvested in a given year are going to be harvested during the firearm seasons. So it's an important time of the year for a lot of folks to get out there, and generally speaking, our deer numbers are looking pretty strong.
And I know the issue of chronic wasting disease is still with us. What are some of the guidelines, some of the steps the DNR is taking, and some of the things the hunters need to keep in mind regarding that issue?
You bet. So chronic wasting disease is continuing to spread across the state to some degree. We're getting new counties every year added to the mix, which is unfortunate, but something that we're expecting going in. We are trying to manage the disease by keeping the prevalence as low as possible. And we're doing that through controlled hunts when the situation is appropriate, additional harvest opportunities, again, when the population allows it. But generally, we do recommend that hunters would refrain from baiting or feeding deer, things that would artificially congregate them and lead to a higher disease transmission. And it's also important for hunters to know that by transporting deer carcasses, let's say across county lines, they could also be introducing the disease to new areas as well. For any hunters that are interested in getting a deer tested for chronic wasting disease, they can simply reach out to their local DNR wildlife biologist.
I know chronic wasting disease has been something that we've dealt with in our neck of the woods over the last couple of years. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, perhaps related to this, perhaps not, there's been an antlerless season available, maybe related to this, maybe not, but will that be available again in January?
Yeah, you bet. So the January antlerless seasons, you're right, they are partly due to disease concerns, but just generally speaking, they're a season that's held for population management,
Okay.
which does, of course, connect to CWD management as well. These are seasons that are basically in place in counties that have an excess of county antlerless tags at the end of the deer hunting season. And similar to the last couple years, we will be running that hunt again in select counties. It's just a matter of where tags are still available.
And what are some safety things to keep in mind to make sure the hunt is as safe as possible starting Saturday?
You bet. So first of all, it's important, of course, that hunters make sure they wear their blaze orange. Not only is it safe and important, it's also the law. Um, Hunters should keep in mind that, the more orange, the better. Deer don't perceive colors the same way humans do, so you're not really disadvantaging yourself by wearing blaze orange. You're only making things more safe. On the actual hunting end of things, it's really important to always make sure you know the target, what you're shooting at, and perhaps even more importantly, what's behind it. For instance, shooting a skylined deer could be quite dangerous because you don't know where that bullet or slug is going to ultimately end up. And unfortunately, we do have accidents most years because of this.
And that is the safety things to remember when you're out in the field. Is there anything you need to do before you go out on your hunt coming up this weekend or starting this weekend that you can do now to make sure the safety is first and foremost?
Yeah, so it's always a good idea to make a plan with whoever you're hunting with, and then make sure you hunt that plan. So we get about 50% of our firearm deer hunters participating in deer drives primarily. So it's really important that those drives are well coordinated and safe. And those are things that you can begin planning even this early. Yep.
Anything else to keep in mind as the shotgun deer season gets underway this weekend? Anything we're missing?
Not that I can think of. Although one thing I will say for folks anywhere in Iowa, we did have a rather severe EHD outbreak in the state this year, and that has absolutely impacted local deer populations, depending on where you're at in the state. So we're not concerned about this outbreak from a statewide population scale, but it is entirely likely that many hunters will notice a difference in deer abundance as a result of that outbreak. We have tried to create some new tools in order to capture better data related to deer loss from EHD. And so our department is committed to trying to continue to manage the deer population despite those outbreaks. But it is important for hunters to know that depending on where you're at, things may look a little differently.
And I guess one question I'll add to ask you as the season gets underway this weekend, and then second season begins a week from Saturday. How big of an economic impact does the deer hunting season have in the state of Iowa?
That's a great question. And up until recently, we couldn't necessarily answer that question. But based on some new research that came out of Iowa State University, where we directly explored that question, we've estimated about $180 million economic benefit to the state of Iowa because of deer hunting in general. Of course, there's a lot of benefits that aren't able to be captured so easily. So that's a pretty minimum estimate. But of course, as hunters are traveling across the state, they're spending their money in new places and rural communities oftentimes that don't get a lot of travelers. So yeah, whitetail deer hunting is absolutely essential to many communities across the state.
Jace, we appreciate you taking a few minutes to tell us about the upcoming deer season. First season starting Saturday, second season starting a week from Saturday. Thanks for the time and the information. And here's to a good and a safe hunt for everyone going out into the fields this weekend.
You bet. Thanks, Darren.
Jace Elliott, he is the deer biologist with the Iowa DNR shotgun deer season beginning this Saturday. With us now is Stacey Gossling from the Winneshiek County Historical Society. And coming up this Saturday will be Dickens on Mill Street, an event that will take place from 1 until 4 p.m. And Stacey, remind us before we get into the specifics of the day how this event really came to be.
I guess it came to be because we realized that there was an English colony that was here, was sort of lost in the pages of history and nobody realized it or remembered it. But there was an English colony that originally had settled here. And we just wanted to celebrate them. So Dickens on Mill Street sort of morphed from there.
And that is one thing that I think most people didn't realize, and I guess I didn't realize until having a few conversations with you and Elizabeth Lorenzen, and also Janelle Halverson, that obviously Decorah is known for its Norwegian heritage, but there's a pretty good English heritage history in Decorah as well.
There is. So the English came very early on, and they came with money. Some of them were going to be gentlemen farmers. Then they got here, and after a year or two, realized just how hard it was to be in the farming business. And some of them stayed, but some of them left and went back to the East Coast or went back to England. But they definitely left their mark here in Decorah. A lot, not all of them, but a lot of the houses in the historic district were built by the English, as well as a lot of the buildings downtown were also built by the English. Like I said, when they came, they had money. So they were able to do all those things.
Very interesting to learn all these new things. As we always do, we we get educated on the history of Decorah when we talk to representatives from the Winneshiek County Historical Society. So, tell us about the event coming up on Saturday. Time, location, etc. What do folks need to know?
Okay, this Saturday, December 7th, from 1 to 4, at the Historical Society House, which is on the corner of Mill and Broadway. We are catty corner from First Lutheran Church. Big brick house, you can't miss it. We have new displays set up, one on Civil War memorabilia and items that we have from our archive. And of course, a display to the English. And we will be serving English treats like figgy pudding and wassail or wassail for people. We'll have carolers, a brass quartet, and we have live Dickens characters. So we do have people dressed up as characters from the Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens. And we will have Mother Christmas or Mrs. Claus will be there. And carriage rides out front. Those are $5 for a carriage ride per person. But come into the house, see the house. We now have the entire first floor of the house is open. And a lot of people, they come just to see the house. They've always been curious about it. And the house itself, it was pre-Civil War. It was built, the front part of the house was built in 1860, and the same family continuously lived in it for 4 generations until it was gifted to the Historical Society.
And I know that's a house that you now have possession of the whole house. How much of this event originally was about just showing off where you guys conduct your business in all reality?
Um, Actually, when we first started doing Dickens, this will be our 3rd year. That was kind of the main thing, is we wanted people to know. For years we had been in the basement of the library, and then we lost that spot, and then we were in the Smith building for a year or two. So we kind of bounced around, but now we wanted to show everybody this is our spot. This is where we will be forever.
And how much work goes into putting this event on, getting the volunteers to dress up as the Dickens characters, making sure all the I's are dotted and the T's are crossed? How much work do you put in on what has become a annual event for your organization?
It is a lot of work, as anybody that has, volunteered on a board knows. Our entire board is volunteers. And coordinating, getting people for the characters and their costumes, getting people to help make the food for it. It all takes a lot of time, but we start, really like late summer, we start gearing up for it so that we are ready to go on that day.
And we mentioned it's a free will donation, with the exception of the carriage rides, which will be $5. And looking at the extended forecast heading into Saturday, it says sunny and 41 in Decorah. That sounds like a great day for a carriage ride for me, if you ask me.
Yes, we couldn't ask for better weather. And we also did add a new thing this year uh, to Dickens on Mill. So that evening, from 6:30 to 8:30, it's a one-man show by a professional actor named Ray Carver. And he does a one-man show as Charles Dickens, and he acts out most of the characters that are in A Christmas Carol. And we are selling tickets, and they're selling fast this week. Tickets are $15. They're available at the Kampai Soda Shop, the Chamber of Commerce, or at the Historical Society office tomorrow between 10 and 3. Excuse me. We do have limited seating, so we encourage everybody to get their tickets early.
And will that performance be at, where will that performance be?
This performance will be at the Carriage House. It's actually called the Weiser Carriage House, that is just behind the First Lutheran Church parking lot.
All right. Anything we're missing? Anything else you want to pass on regarding Dickens on Mill Street coming up this weekend?
No, just we're really excited to have Ray Carver do this addition to Dickens this year. That evening, we think it'll be a really good time. So we invite everybody to come out either during the day to come visit the house, or in the evening to see Charles Dickens.
All right. And what other things are you involved with? I know the Historical Society has been involved with quite a few things. What tops the topics of conversation that you guys are working on other than Dickens on Mill Street coming up this week?
Well, we actually have some very exciting news. Uh, we are going to build an archive on our property. When we were gifted the property, that also included the lot next door to us. So we've worked with a local contractor, and he helped us come up with a plan. So we are going to build an archive that will be attached to the house, which is going to be absolutely wonderful, because then you don't have to go out in the snow and the rain to retrieve objects. Right now, a majority of our collection is stored on the second floor of the old jail up by the courthouse. But I know it's been, I guess hints have been dropped to us that the county needs more storage space, and they have been wonderful allowing us to have our archive up there. But we feel now it's time for us to get everybody behind us, everybody in Winneshiek County. We need everybody's help to build this archive to save all the different items from Winneshiek County that people have donated to us. It'll be temperature controlled, and it's not just, some people are like, oh, it's because you're in Decorah. No, we are the entire county. We cover the entire county. So it's going to be very exciting. It should be starting in the spring to build the archive. Because we are in the historic district, we are going to make it look like a carriage house so that it just blends in and you don't even really notice it. So we're going to spend a little extra money to make it look like it was always there.
And
So
how big of a deal is it after all these years of having so many things in multiple different locations that you can have everything related to your work on one site?
yeah, it's unbelievable. This is the 61st year of the Historical Society. So we are very, very excited. You know, yes, we're always interested in history, but at the same time, we want to look towards the future. And by building this archive, it will contain everything that we have, and we will have room to grow. So it will take the Historical Society on to future generations by having this built.
All right, Stacey, exciting news there. Exciting stuff coming up this week with Dickens on Mill Street as well. Always enjoy talking to you guys and learning things about where we are from and the history of where we are from. We thank you
Yep.
for taking the time, Stacey. I know it's a little early, but Merry Christmas to you and your family.
Yes, you too.
Stacey Gossling with the Winneshiek County Historical Society. Dickens on Mill Street coming up this Saturday, 1 until 4. And don't forget the performance from 6:30 until 8:30 that night as well. One of the great yearly traditions this holiday season in the Decorah area is the Vestherheim Norwegian Christmas celebration. It will be taking place this Saturday from 10 a.m. until 4 p.m. Chivonne Marlow is with us from Vestherheim. And Chivonne, before we touch about the event or touch on the events coming up this Saturday, recently Vestherheim received a major additional gift, and the Commons is going to have a new name because of that. Why don't you touch on that briefly?
Thanks, Darren. Yes, the Vestherheim Commons is now going to be Hansen Vestherheim Commons in honor of the Hansen family, who gave a really significant and very generous gift to help support Vestherheim, and we are so grateful to them.
Always good to have people donating to a great cause like that. But this coming Saturday is the annual Norwegian Christmas celebration. Give us the details. Tell us everything that will be going on.
There will be a lot going on at Vestherheim and really throughout the campus between the main museum and the Commons and the patio behind the Commons and Bethania Church. We're going to have all sorts of activities. On the back patio behind the Hansen Vestherheim Commons, we will have events like face painting from 10 to 2 for children. We will have a bonfire back there, and we'll have stuff to make Scandinavian s'mores, which are just slightly different from regular s'mores in that they have a ginger snap instead of a graham cracker. And we'll have gluten-free graham crackers and sugar-free chocolate, and hopefully some vegan marshmallows as well. We will also serve hot chocolate, cider, and some lingonberry juice out on that back patio. And we really are trying to create sort of a kushly atmosphere. And that's kind of the Norwegian definition of coziness back there. So we'll have people sitting on hay bales and in chairs. We'll serve the hot chocolate back there. We'll have some lefse for people as well. And really would love to see you back there. The weather's supposed to be okay, I think. So we'll keep our fingers crossed for that. We'll also have back there some great photo opportunities. We'll have Nils the Nissa. And if you drive around Decorah and see those wooden Nissa in people's windows, we have a large one of those, one of the originals. And it's a great way to stand there with him and take a wonderful family portrait. We will also have live goats that you can pet and take photos with from Lost Pine Farm, and Aaron and Mike Ryan are bringing those in. And so they'll be back on that patio as well. Inside the oh, go ahead.
No, I interrupted you. Go right ahead. Obviously, there's a lot of events going on, and just continue.
Okay. Inside the Commons, we will have some crafts for kids. We'll have demonstrators. And then at 11:30 a.m. and at 1 p.m., we'll have the Yule Tray Fest, in which kids and their families can, and adults can gather around the Christmas tree, sing the Yule Tray song, um, and the Yule Nissa, who likes to bring gifts for children, will make a visit as well. We also have a really generous gift from the Oneota Valley Literary Foundation. They are donating some books for us to hand out. So we'll try and hand out one book per family as long as supplies last. So we're really excited about that as well. There will be crafts in the museum and more demonstrators. We try to have demonstrators that really represent our folk art school. So we'll have people doing rose mulling, people doing woodworking, people working with textiles, and that'll be a lot of fun. In connection with our Hand Me Down the Fiddle exhibit, we have Karen Rebholz, and she will be demonstrating in the fiddle exhibit itself. She will be showing people how to make a hardanger fiddle, which is really pretty neat.
Wow.
And then Eden Aim, who is a local celebrity, she will be playing her hardanger fiddle in Bethania Church at 2:00 in the afternoon. Some other things that are going to be happening in the church. We have Northern Lights performing at, I believe, 11, Decorah Chorale is performing at 11. Northern Lights is performing at noon, and those are both in Bethania. Lauren Singers will be at 1, and then Eden will be at 2. And around the museum, we have a Touch of Brass at 12:15. They'll be in the Commons. And the high school madrigal singers are coming, and they'll be in the ship gallery of the museum. So lots of stuff going on.
So you got food, you've got demonstrations, you've got music, you've got you can take your picture with a Nissa, you got goats. I mean, what more can you want on a Saturday afternoon in Decorah?
Well, you can also visit the Oneota Weavers Guild sales. They have all sorts of knitted items, some woven items, all sorts of textiles for sale. And the Norman Borlaug Foundation will be selling Yule necks. And they're those sheaves of wheat that people use to feed the birds during the winter. And those will be on the side porch of the museum. And, I love being at Vestherheim, but there are a lot of other things going on in town that I'm always sorry to miss. So I think Decorah really shows well this weekend.
No doubt about it. And you mentioned there's various support to make these things happen. I'd imagine a day like this doesn't happen without support of Vestherheim from many different people.
Many, many different people. And we're grateful to all of our sponsors for supporting Norwegian Christmas this year. And we can't thank the community enough. Without everybody, this wouldn't be possible. And I'd also like to thank all of our intrepid volunteers who come out every year to make this festival just as perfect as it can be.
And as of right now, I'm checking the forecast for Saturday, mostly sunny and 41 for the 7th of December. You can't get much better than that, can you?
Keeping my fingers crossed.
And let's talk about the museum itself. What are the regular hours? If folks are in town for the holidays and you want to show off a showcase of Decorah, what are the regular hours for Vestherheim? What do people need to know on that end of things?
The museum hours are 10 until 4, and children and youth get in free on Saturday. Admission for adults is $12. Seniors, 65 and older, are $10. And normally, youth and children over 7 are $5. But as I said, that is waived this weekend or this Saturday for Norwegian Christmas. The Commons is open from 9 until 5, and the museum store is open from 9 until 5 as well. And that'll include, all sorts of lovely items in there too.
I know you guys have had a push and initiative going on with Giving Tuesday this week. If people want to donate to Vestherheim, how do they do so?
They can do so online. The donor relations crew at Vestherheim will be out and about, and there will be multiple opportunities for people to do that, just even in person if they'd like, or they can always call and just ask to speak to donor relations and say they would like to contribute towards making Vestherheim the amazing place that it is.
Anything we're missing? Anything else you want to pass on, as long as you got the forum this morning?
Well, I'd just like to thank the Decorah community and thank all of our sponsors and the musicians and the volunteers again, and the Vestherheim staff. We all work really hard to make this weekend special, and I think this is an ideal weekend for people to come to Decorah.
All right, I'll let you give one final commercial to invite people to Vestherheim Norwegian Christmas coming up this weekend.
All right, well, please everybody come join us. Whether you're Norwegian or not, we would love to see you at Vestherheim. So enjoy the weekend.
All right, Chivonne, thank you for taking the time, as you usually do this time of year, to talk about Vestherheim Norwegian Christmas. Should be a beautiful day in Decorah, and should be a great day at Vestherheim. Again, thanks for taking the time. And I know it's early, but Merry Christmas to you and your family.
Thank you, Darren. Merry Christmas to you, too.
Chivonne Marlow with Vestherheim, Vestherheim Norwegian American Christmas, 10 a.m., the start time this Saturday. The holiday season is upon us, and part of the holiday season is music and musical entertainment by many talented people in our area. Now, long-standing tradition in Waukon is the Allamakee Ecumenical Christmas Concert. It will take place this weekend, and Sarah Bieber is with us to tell us about it. And Sarah, how long has this concert been going?
This concert is in its 48th year. So this is an annual Christmas concert that happens every December, and it includes a lot of people from area churches that are involved in their own church programs, or maybe they don't have a music program in their church, but they can get together with other people that sing and play bells and make all kinds of music during the Christmas season.
How do you get everybody to come together for such a warm holiday event like this? How often do you get together to make sure everything will be as great as it always is come Sunday night?
So we start evening rehearsals on Sunday nights at 7 at St. John's Lutheran Church in October, end of October, early November. And we just spread the word through churches and through just kind of word of mouth of people that are musical in the community, and ask them to join us. And if it works for their schedule, we love to have them. There's actually two different choirs that sing. There's a men's choir that incorporates about, I can't remember the exact number of men, maybe 12 to 13 guys that come together before the actual ecumenical choir. The ecumenical choir is women and men together that sing, and then we've got the men's choir.
How many people overall are involved in this event?
Oh man, off the top of my head, there could be 50 people involved easily.
Wow.
Between the women's choir, the men's choir, the mixed choir. And then we also have the handbell choirs. There's an adult handbell choir that has about 13 people in it. And then there's a youth bell choir that, again, has about the same number of kids in it. And then we also have some people from Postville. Shauna Johnson, the band director over there, has come over to play her baritone and do a solo on her baritone. And with the area clergy, we've got a numerous amount of ministers, reverends that come and read the Christmas carols from Waukon and Lansing and rural churches as well.
And I know this event for you was definitely a family event, and discuss the connection with your family in this event, because your family has been involved with it for quite some time.
Yes, my dad founded it. He is a organist and church musician at our church, but he was also an organ performance major. He went to Drake University for his bachelor's and his master's, and then on to Eastman School of Music in Rochester, New York for his doctorate. And he was a college professor and church musician out in Rocky Mountain College in Montana for many years, and was very involved with church music throughout his whole life. So he was inspired by the church services in England, the Canterbury church services over there that do these lessons and carols. So we have a lesson, we have a lesson read by the reverends that all pertains to parts of the Christmas story. And then we have carols that are sung by our choirs, but then we also have congregational hymns that are sung by the congregation, accompanied by the organ as well.
So a lot of people involved, 50 performers, but a lot of people will be singing with the congregation involved as well. And you touched on a few of the highlighted parts of this event. I gotta let you talk yourself up. You're going to be part of those highlights, correct?
Yes, I am. I've got a few things that I'm getting ready for this year. One of them is our our youth handbell choir is preparing a piece, and I will be playing a handbell tree solo along with our youth handbell choir accompanying me, and then also the adult singing choir. The Ecumenical choir will be accompanying me and Sarah Hagen, my musical assistant director, also of Allamakee Community Players. The two of us will be singing Pieyezu, the duet from Andrew Lloyd Webber's famous Pieyezu. So that will be one of the highlights of the concert as well.
And just looking at the my notes here, you get some young people involved, I believe, with the Walk-On High School Saxophone Quartet. Is that correct?
They will be starting the concert with some pre-concert music for that event as well.
And just to remind folks, when will this event, where will this event be, and all the pertinent information so folks can attend?
Yes, so it's this Sunday, December 8th at 7 o'clock at St. John's Lutheran Church here in Waukon. And we will have the concert starting at 7, and then you're welcome to join us after the concert in the basement, the fellowship hall, for fellowship and refreshments after the concert.
And if you can't make it, I believe it's on the St. John's Church Facebook page, and we also broadcast it on 103.5 KNEI as well, and we're proud to be a part of that as well. Anything we're missing? Anything else we need to pass on, Sarah?
If you can't make it to the actual performance and maybe you don't have access to Facebook, it will also be streamed on KNEI 103.5 on Christmas Day at 10 a.m.
And we're always happy to pass that along to the folks as well. Sarah, we appreciate you taking some time to tell us about the concert coming up this weekend. We appreciate everything you do to add some holiday cheer to our community.
You're so welcome. We love giving back to our community at Christmas time. That's one of the joys of being a musician, is you get to involve all these young people and area people in the joy of making music at Christmas.
It's the 48th annual Walk-On or Allamakee Ecumenical Christmas concert at St. John's Lutheran Church in Waukon this coming Sunday night at 7 p.m. If you can't be there, which you should be there, but if you can't, we'll have it for you on 103.5 KNEI. Our thanks to our guest on the program this morning, Jace Elliott with the Iowa DNR, a deer biologist, giving you some tips as shotgun deer season starts in the state of Iowa today. Dickens on Mill Street taking place this Saturday. I want to thank Stacey Gossling from the Winneshiek County Historical Society for joining us. Chivonne Marlow from Vestherheim Norwegian Christmas this weekend at the Vestherheim Norwegian American Museum this weekend. And don't forget the Walk-On in Allamakee County Ecumenical Christmas concert taking place at St. John's Church in Waukon this Sunday night at 7 o'clock. We want to thank Sarah Bieber for joining us. And don't forget, if you can't make it there, you can listen to that concert on Bluff Country 103.5 KNEI on Sunday night. Don't forget, we put these shows on YouTube each and every week. We realize, especially during the holiday season, you got a lot of things to go to, Christmas concerts, shopping for the kids, for the family, for loved ones, getting the kids to their Christmas events and pageants and all that good stuff. And got to get ready for a lot of things this holiday season. You're busy. You can't always be near a smart speaker or a radio at 9 o'clock on a Thursday morning, but we want to bring these interesting interviews and interesting guests to you on your schedule. Just go to 12.5 Our Town Program. You can search that on YouTube, and we also put these links up on all of our LA Communications Facebook pages. We do the best we can to stay in touch with our communities, because without you guys, none of this would make sense. So that's various ways you can get the content that we produce related to the Our Town program. Our thanks to our guest, thanks to our sponsor, Decorah Bank and Trust, and we thank you, that's right, you, for tuning in, for logging on, or for watching Our Town on 94.9 and 99.1 The River.